guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiancé, Season 8, Episode 3, Bless This Mess. Alright, you guys, I keep telling you to subscribe to my channel. I need you to subscribe. Don't come and check for me. Subscribe so that you get notified, even though I'm told that you don't get notified when you subscribe. But whatever, do it anyway for the algorithm of the YouTubery, okay? Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. You know, happy. So this episode was boring, so let's jump right in. First couple that we're gonna talk about, new couple, is Andrew and Amira. Amira is a French woman. She's from a city outside of Paris, I believe, called Samsumaru. And it's surrounded by vineyards. She said that it's a relatively slow city, but it looks so pretty. Oh my God, Chris Vera would love to be her. I mean, she's French, which Chris loves the France colonizer. In honor of her, I wore my makeup very similar. I have only bottom liner on. I don't have a lash. And then I have a frosty up here. I don't remember what her lips look like, but you know, there's that. She's a very simple gal who loves the makeup. She might have had a little bit of color on the edges, but it's too hot for all that. I need to get this video filmed and out, okay, to you guys, because I made a promise. Amira's a girly girl. I like her, even though I think that her and Andrew are grossly mismatched, because Andrew looks like he lives in his mother's basement and plays video games all day. That is not what he does, but that's what he looks. That is the aura, that is the smell that I believe I'm smelling from him through the TV screen. So Amira's talking to her father about her plans on leaving and how scary it is because they have got their K1 visa. However, coronavirus has just hit and they only have a couple of months for her to get on a plane and fly to the US. But travel ban or something. Not the Muslim travel ban, but I guess Trump did another travel ban early in 2020 when the coronavirus first hit. And so people from European countries just can't fly into the United States. So they have the visa to come to the States, but not the permission of like the government or like the national security to come into the United States, right? So Andrew's, you know, typing furiously, trying to figure out how he can get Amira to the US. Amira has said to him, you know what, I don't feel comfortable going. This is not a good time to try to do this. And he's like, look, after all the money that I have spent on you and trying to get you to the US, you are going to do this for me. We find out in a conversation that Amira is having with her father that Andrew has made her cry. And I don't like him. I feel like he's manipulative. He's giving me culty Debbie vibes and I'm not feeling it. TLC is shady because they set up his intro scene to make us believe that he was a Renaissance nerd of all nerds. Not only was he a nerd of all nerds, he didn't even have the wherewithal to spend the money on a proper sword. Listen, if you're going to think that you're a knight of the round table, if you are going to live your medieval fantasy, I'm gonna need you to purchase some quality crowns and swords and belts and whatnot. And so he didn't. But then it turns out that he was just doing story time for the daycare that him and his mother run. And I peeped it. My mom had a daycare in the 90s. It was the worst thing that ever happened to our family because she don't really like kids. And during the summer, it was my job to watch them. And he does that, but there's only like 5 kids. I wonder how much they charge a head. Now in the 90s, mom used to charge like 85 for like kids that couldn't walk, and then like 65 for kids that could, and then like 45 for kids that could walk and go to the bathroom. So I know now prices are like quadruple that these days. Like parents really be out here paying a damn near car note every week for childcare. So the part of California they live in, I've never heard of, which means it's somewhere in between LA and San Francisco. Maybe it's cheaper up in there. So I'm wondering how he affords his lifestyle as a super nerd, how he's gonna afford to have Amira come to the US. His mother and him have a conversation about his plan, because remember he went on the internet and figured out a way for her to get to the US, about his plan to get Amira to come to the US by going to Mexico on a vacation, quarantining there for 14 days, and then coming from Mexico to the US. But I feel like, doesn't the visa usually stipulate what country you're coming from? So won't they look at that France visa and be like, hey, but you're not coming to the US from France, you're coming to the US from Mexico? He said that someone in that message board room said it worked. So he's pushing Amira to do this. Amira feels like, fine, I guess I should do this because he's guilting me into do it. You know, he gave her an ultimatum, which is really annoying because you're just like, Amira could do so much better than you, Andrew. He has a conversation with his sister. He needs to meet up with her to give her a baby shower gift because he won't be there for her baby shower, her first and maybe only baby, which seems like in the family that kind of manipulation talk runs, you know? If my brother ever came to me with that kind of baby shower gift, I would be very upset. You got me a blue beret, that's cute and all, but where's my high chair? Where's my crib? If my brother ever got me something so dumb and unnecessary, excuse me, did you look at my registry? Damn! A beret. Anyway, so it was cute for the scene, and the sister then tries to talk to him about Amira coming into the US. Andrew mentions that in the beginning, Amira did want kids, and now she doesn't want them, and how they're gonna have to talk that out. And his sister is like, no, you guys really need to talk that out before she gets to the US, because you cannot be in a relationship with somebody who you guys are not on the same page in the beginning, especially when it comes to having children, because you definitely want them. And he's like, yeah, something we're gonna have to talk about. And the sister's like, no, I mean, you need to talk about that yesterday. And he's like, yeah, definitely something we're gonna have to talk about. I'm like, Andrew, I really think that he's planning on guilting her into having kids too. She don't wanna have kids with you. Oh, you got bad genes, okay? Sister says, I think her name's Connie. Connie has met Amira and she's decided that Amira is materialistic. Amira clearly has some kind of job that is keeping her in the makeup and the fits that she wants to be in, right? I mean, we saw her walking around the vineyard in suede knee-high boots. Like, mama has style. What do you mean she's materialistic? It just makes me feel like dry-ass Connie is just jealous of fly-ass Amira. That's all I see right now. It's just jealousy talking. So that's what I think about that couple. Let's move on to our favorite couple, which is Brandon and Julia and Betty. So we see them the next day. Brandon is coming into the hotel room. He looks like he's gotten up early, gotten some breakfast, and Julia wakes up, you know what I'm saying, earrings on and lashes a-lashing. So she's like, oh no, I don't want to go. I no go. No, I sleep. And he's like, you gotta get up. My mom has literally had this entire day planned. Cut to Betty in the other room, like, gotta get the kids up. Got plans, sightseeing to do, ha ha ha, all the presidential monuments. They hurry and get dressed because Julia's like, I do not want Betty to yell at me. First stop is the Washington Monument. And I have been to the Washington Monument, you guys, and it actually is kind of cool being in Washington, D.C., seeing all these landmarks that you've seen on TV over and over and over again, and to actually see them in person. It's cool. There are often a lot of children around. When I went to Washington, D.C., I specifically went to see the African American History Museum. Oh, it was so beautiful. I highly recommend going seeing it. You start at the bottom. I mean, I literally cried from the bottom to the top. Like just boo-hooing about my African-American heritage. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, Black people in America just sound so great. I mean, just so much out of all the oppression and all of the stuff that has happened to us as a community, as a people, our stolen history. We killing it, bro. I mean, talk about survival. We're awesome. So they're at the Washington Monument. Julia takes out her selfie stick and she takes out a bunch of pictures for the gram, okay? And I can't be mad at her. I would be just as annoyed as Betty is. However, I would like to see her pictures. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hate being with someone who has to take a million pictures. Like, I just like take two and get out of my face. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, the dad takes Julia off to go get burgers, which is her favorite food. Even though she just finished calling American people fat, I'm just like, burgers, so okay, whatever, high metabolism, fine, whatever, your life. So she goes off with the dad, and then Brandon and his mother have a conversation wherein Brandon tells Betty that Julia is upset about them not sleeping in the same bed and for his mother to change her mind. And Betty's like, nope, I don't want to even think about you guys having sex. Like, when you're married, before you're married, I mean, at all. And Brandon, it makes me mad because this is what people who don't have any backbone do. Instead of him saying, Mom, you are making me feel upset because I want to sleep in the bed with my fiance, he puts it on Julia, which is annoying. Don't put it on Julia. You have the same feelings too. Brandon is annoying. Betty is annoyed. Cut to them eating the burgers and Betty telling them, okay guys, let's get on. We've got a lot of more monuments to see. And Julia's like, I like park. I like monuments. I don't like politics. That's not me. I don't know anything, you know, about your president. She's like, oh, that White House. It's hilarious that Julia doesn't know that the president of the United States stays in the White House. Like, I'm not saying that you need to know everything about American politics. I know that Buckingham Palace is where the Queen is supposed to live. She says that she's not into politics. And if I were her and I was Russian, I really wouldn't be into politics either, because I'd be very upset that I had a president who like was president forever because he changed the rules on how long someone could be a president. So anyways, Brandon has some gumption and he tells his mother, we're actually not gonna hang out with you anymore. We're gonna separate ways here. And Julie and I are gonna hang out together, and I made dinner reservations. And Betty's like, oh, well, I guess it's just me and you then. It's crazy that she's planned this whole thing. And that Brandon let her. So Brandon and Julia go off and he finally tells her about his financial situation. He finally explains to her about the situation living at home. And she's like, okay, so either we stay with your mother, me and your mother fight, and then you and I fight, or we leave, we don't have any money, so still you and I fight. And he's like, and she's like, okay. Julie has done this before. Moved in with him and his parents. His mother heard her yelling at him and then started to yell at her. And when she tried to explain to the boyfriend that they were having problems, he didn't understand that they were having problems. So Julia says that she doesn't want to repeat it. She doesn't want to do it again. But the truth is she's already done it again. And girl, like, the worst of luck. So let's move on to the next couple. The next couple that we're going to talk about is Natalie and Michael. Okay, so this is an interesting segment. It was short, but it was packed a punch. They wake up the next day and they are going back to Squim. But before they go to Squim, they have lunch with Uncle Bo. And Natalie says she doesn't know how she's gonna feel about meeting Uncle Bo. Specifically, she doesn't know how Uncle Bo is gonna feel about meeting her because she's the reason why Uncle Bo is homeless. But when Uncle Bo shows up, she is positively polite. She is so pleasant with Uncle Bo. She tries to make conversation with him. She says his outfit is cool. She really enjoys his style. They're sitting down together and it seems like it's a lovely time. I personally don't understand one word Uncle Bo is saying, but apparently Natalie and Natasha does. Uncle Bo orders a whiskey and Natalie is immediately in her judgment zone. She's gonna ask this grown-ass man, how many drinks are you gonna have during the meal? And he says, well, as many as they're gonna give me. And I said, Bo, you tell her. You tell her. She see you don't got no teeth. She sees what's happening in front of her and she's gonna judge you for a whiskey? Let that man drink a whiskey. Okay, he's already down that path, been down that path for the last 25 years. Don't even worry about his drinking, okay? His liver, gone. You don't worry about it. So Natalie then talks to the waiter about how she's in America because she's so surprised about how big the portions are with the food. And then the waiter starts to ask a bunch of uncomfortable questions. The last uncomfortable question being, oh, so when are you getting married? And she's like, I don't know. I don't have my ring. So it's really tough situation. And then we're all feeling awkward. And Natalie says that it's really uncomfortable for her for the fact that she doesn't have her ring and Mike hasn't given the ring back. And I'm like, well, you threw it at him. You threw it at him. You really, really, really need to apologize for that and ask for the ring back. That's what she needs to do. You threw it back at him because you were having a temper tantrum like a child. So they get on the road and they drive back to Squim. She's nervous about it because she doesn't know about living in the country because she is a city gal. They finally get back to his place, turn on the lights, and she is underwhelmed. I mean, underwhelmed. And I would be too. It is a quintessential bachelor pad. And I think it's so interesting that all of the men, except for maybe Tariq, just don't understand about furniture. So she says it's cold on the inside. I don't know why he didn't like that like wood burning fire oven thing that he has on the side. Mike is not feeling like impressing her at all. She asks for tea, which he has to know she drinks tea, so why wouldn't he stock up on it? And he's like, oh, I don't know if we have any tea. I mean, the kitchen is clean though, so I like that. It's just like a man's house. No taste, no style, no effort. So she then says that she doesn't like cats. You been knew he had this cat. Okay, don't come over here talking about you don't like cats all of a sudden. There she is. There's Natalie. So it leaves off on an awkward thing because she's unhappy and cold and he just doesn't give an F about it. He's like, this is how I live. This is my house. This is what it is. So take it or leave it. You're gonna love me for who I am. I'm done with trying to impress you. That's it about them. Let's move on to the next couple that we're gonna talk about is Jovi and Yaara. And here we go with the Louisiana music. They gave me the Louisiana music. Yay! So it's the next morning and Yaara and Jovi are getting ready to go to Jovi's mother's house, and Yaara tries to put on a double-breasted houndstooth fit. And he's like, no, just put on a t-shirt, jeans, and a jacket. Let's go. She's acting weird because she's like, I don't know if I want to stay there. They get to the house. It's a nice house. Her meeting with the mother is a little frosty to begin with. He has to kind of push her. The mother says, hey, I'm feeling some kind of way because you didn't want to stay in my house. And she's like, but I have girly things like my hair and, lots of stuff. And, I didn't know how comfortable I would be. So she gets into the house and she realizes that it's not a trailer park. It's not a train wreck. It's a nice house. She's going to have her own room with Jovi. So she's like, okay, I'll stay. Mother is making something, I think, called fricassee. I think that's what she said. Something French, something Cajun French. And so she makes this dish and we don't know if Yaara's gonna like it. They sit down for dinner and Yaara does. She's like, oh, this is good. And we're just so surprised and like, whew, all take a collective breath. They're talking about the wedding. So Jovi's mother already knows that Yaara doesn't want to have a wedding. They just want to go to Vegas and get it done. But Jovi's mother is trying to convince Yaara to maybe do something because Jovi's grandparents would like to attend. Yaara says, no, I don't want to have a big wedding. I just want to do something small in Vegas, no family, like whatever, because my parents can't be there. And so I don't want to have pictures where my parents can't be there. And Jovi's mother's like, but his parents can be there. And so his parents and his grandparents would like, to be there, to like be a part of it because you're here. And Yaara's like, so Yaara and Jovi then go into the bedroom and Jovi's like, okay, that went okay. And Yaara's like, yeah, I am comfortable being here. But can I be honest with you? I didn't like the food. It had no flavor. And I was blown away. I was like, what do you mean it didn't have any flavor? I literally thought the food was going to be too hot for her. I have no idea what Ukrainian food is. I just think of it kind of like Moldovan food for some reason, even though I know it's two different cultures, but like think of it as being like fish and like cream sauces or butter sauces. I don't know. I have no idea. None. But I'm like, you didn't think that food had flavor? And then I really want to taste it now to know if it did have flavor because I don't trust Yaara's tongue. And then she's going to say something else rude. And Jovi's just like, hey, I'm just excited she didn't say it in front of my mom. However, she did say it on national TV. So Jovi's mother will hear it / see it. Our very last couple is my very favorite couple of this episode, and this was Tariq and Hazel, or Terry and Hazel, or Tarzal. Tariq is on his way to meet his best Judy. Her wig is here, and I can see it, and then there's like skin / broken edges coming out. And then she has a shirt that is like doing a bit of like church lady ruffle. And then a skirt. I mean, it's busy. It's a whole busy ass outfit. She even has like a bracelet. One's like a cuff and then another one's like a sparkly bit. This one I could tell she was trying and she missed the mark. She missed it. I mean, she put on everything she could put on. Her hair was cute though, except for right here. But the actual unit, I like that that like kinky, I don't know what it's called, but I like it. Tariq wants to buy a powder blue suit. So they go to Upscale Men's Warehouse. He's looking for powder blue because that is her favorite color. It's like a powder blue / periwinkle. And so the first thing he picked out is like a darker blue with a powder blue shirt, and it looked great. But he said no to that because he wants to wear all powder blue. So they pick another outfit which doesn't look great. But fine, that's what he wants to do. So the friend asks whether or not Dean's gonna be there, and he says, hell no, Dean's not gonna be there. Tariq feels very disrespected and slighted by his brother, so he's like, no, not inviting him to shit. He gets this suit. He gets a beautiful bouquet of flowers. As he's driving there, he is so excited to see Hazel. He's having all kinds of butterflies. His stomach is in knots. And so as he's waiting at the base of the escalator, finally he sees her and she's coming down the escalator and he almost mows over this man in order to get there. He's like, excuse me, you see I'm filming here and you see I'm waiting for somebody, get out of my way. She comes down and she's like, oh, and they have a kiss, and she's awkward with PDA. She doesn't like it. and he gives her the flowers, and she compliments him on his outfit and the color of it and the flowers, and she's really excited to see the US. She gets in the car and she's like, what's wrong? And he's like, nothing, I'm just excited. And it's a really, really great moment. It's actually one of the best 90 Day Fiancé, you know, meet her at the airport moments I've seen. It's really good. She's been flying for 28 hours, girl. She is tired. She's sad though because she had to leave Prince behind, or Harry. Who's Prince? So they get to his house. She's just in awe, looking left and right as they're driving down the street. The houses are much bigger. She's from a poorer place. So when they get into the house, she's like overwhelmed. It's really big, and she also feels like it's dirty, which it isn't dirty. It's just not as tidy as it could be. I love how Tariq talked about his daughter and the fact that he has to remind himself, you know, when she's ignoring him or when she's not answering him or doing what he says, that, you know, she just takes in information differently. And that is the same thing with my nephew. Like that, he is that to a T. He's high functioning as well. He's not speaking yet though. It was very interesting. I wish I could have a conversation with him. Just about the autistic children in our lives, just to see like some parallels. And it's hard though because no autistic child is the same. But it's just really interesting. I love to hear people talk about it. I even watched a show on Netflix, like it was like Spectrum of Love. I loved it. I loved it. I love it. I think it's so interesting. That is the end of this episode, you guys. Please let me know what you thought down below. Christmas trees in the comment section if you got to the end of this video. But look, it has Lisa Simpson and Bart Simpson, and this is my sweater. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Share this video on any social media platform that you deem fit. I hope that you guys have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and enjoy the time with your families if you're able to, or at least be able to just chill on either Thursday or Friday or Saturday. And spend time for yourself. Take a bubble bath or take a long shower, moisturize, scrub. Have a fantastic week, and remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye.